On the morning shift.
Anything could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. It is Wednesday, March the 8th, 2022. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Glad to be here with you. I'm glad that you are with us. It's going to be a great show today. We have Pierre Benum getting ready to come on right after the weather and the sports. And we got a lot of headlines to talk about today, just a lot to talk about as usual, whether it's local or it has another, implications outside of our local sphere. We know we have all kinds of people joining us, not only on the radio on CKLU 96.7 FM, where we are currently broadcasting live weekday mornings between 7:30 and 8:30. We're also on CKLU.ca streaming. You click the Radio Player Canada app on the website, and it streams, and also you can download the same Radio Player Canada app and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device, along with other great CKLU programming. People from all over the world tuning in on CKLU. Also on our Facebook, facebook.com/Sudbury News, where we stream each and every morning as well, live. Also youtube.com/Sudbury News. We notice people from all over the world checking in, whether you're from Sudbury or you've lived in Sudbury, you just want to check in and someone shared the show with you. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. It's an honor, a pleasure that you can be part of this conversation, and even that you think that this show has some type of value in some way to get something from it, to continue to watch it. So we just or listen to it. We really appreciate that. We appreciate those that like, share, follow, subscribe, to be able to help us to get the message out to as many people as possible, so that way our conversation can be have more people involved in it, because basically I'm a facilitator of a community conversation which goes above and beyond our community. We are grateful for the YouTube and Facebook moderators, the job they have to do to make sure that the content that we deliver on this show are up to the community standards on both of those platforms. Not an easy job. Thank you for doing what you need to do. And we're grateful for your platforms, because without it, we wouldn't be able to have this show. Good morning, Vin. Thanks for being with us. We have some things that you shared yesterday as part of the show. I hope we are able to share those. Some really great content, so look forward to that. Good morning, David. Thanks for being with us. Stay safe as usual. Yes, Shane. Haven't seen you for a bit, or at least haven't seen you on the comments, but it's great to have you here. Hope you're having a great morning. And Judy, good morning. Thanks for being with us. As I said, Pierre Benum's going to be joining us, and as usual, it's always a great show when he's on. He'll be on after the weather and the sports this morning, but I just wanted to thank all of you for being here again, and let's just kick things off and get right into the weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be right back. All right. Currently, it is minus 9 degrees, feels like minus 17. Today will be a mix of sun and cloud. Wind will be north 20 kilometers, gusting to 40. High of 0. Wind chill minus 18 this morning. Tonight, mainly cloudy, and the low will be minus 11. Wind chill minus 8 this evening, but minus 19 overnight. Thursday, mainly cloudy. Wind chill minus 19 in the morning and minus 7 in the afternoon. Long range forecast, 7-day, mainly cloudy tomorrow, as we said, high of minus 2. Friday, mix of sun and cloud, minus 2 is their high. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, high of -2. Same thing Sunday, but high of -1. And then Monday, it looks like the probability of precipitation is 60%, high of -2. And then mix of sun and cloud, high of -1 on Tuesday. Pretty much, other than Monday's forecast, everything looks pretty much the same. -1 or -2 is the high, mix of sun and cloud. So it should be some nice weather going into mid-March, which I'm already talking about mid-March. Next week is mid-March. Can you believe that? Time is just a-flying. Look at your satellite. If you're watching, if you're listening, there's a lot of clearing and clouds around us. It's kind of like opposite of what it usually is. There's usually clouds where we are and clearing around us, but for now, we are the clear guys, and that's great. Great news, good weather. Keep it coming. We can't ask for much more. It's a beautiful going into spring so far. So thanks for that, whoever's in charge. So we'll be back with some sports headlines and much more right after this, including Pierre Bonhomme and headlines. All right. Yes, I am here. The Sudbury Five are in action tomorrow night here in Sudbury, facing off against the Flint United. And I just have a press release here from the Five that I was a bit scrambling to get, but I got her. So that is March the 9th, which is tomorrow, and March 11th. Both games set to begin at 7 o'clock. Five fell short to the league-leading London Lightning, as we talked about on last show. Thursday marks the first time the Five have lost in 6 games going back. Okay, let's do this again. Thursday marks the first time the Five have lost in 6 games going back to February 5th. Thursday's loss didn't stop Jeremy Harris from putting up 28 points and taking the league lead in points per game. With 24.3 this season, Dwayne Notice continues to lead the league in three-point percentage, sitting 55.6%, while teammate AJ Mosby Jr. sits third at 45.3%. Anyways, Thursday night, Flint United make the trip to Sudbury for the post-secondary student night. And the Five welcome all post-secondary students to bring some energy and back up the boys. It wouldn't be a post-secondary night without cheap drinks. This Thursday only, Coors Beer. This Thursday only, Coors Beer, Molson Canadian Beer, Vizzy, hard seltzers, and a bunch of other stuff. $5. You have to be 19, obviously, to purchase any of that. Saturday's game sponsored by the YMCA Immigrant Services for the Five Multicultural Night. So, come on, everyone, come on out. Multicultural Night on Saturday night, March 11th. Make it your first. Never been to a game before? March 11th, make it your first. You can go on their website to get more information for a special promo code for $10 tickets. If you haven't had a chance to experience the Five game live and in person, you're not going to want to miss this opportunity. Come down to Sudbury Community Arena, witness the action firsthand. For more information, you can visit the5.ca for ticket information. Now, the Sudbury Wolves are in action tonight in Sault Ste. Marie against the, obviously, Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. They will then be back in town. That game could be heard right here on CKLU 96.7. David Bowen, I always go to say that. David Bowen's got the call for that right here. And then they're back in town Friday with a game against the London Knights. A very rare game against the London Knights in town. They haven't been in town since 2019. Then they're on the road Saturday, March 11th, which then again, you can hear the game right here on CKLU against the Barrie Colts. So they got a tough few games ahead of them tonight, Friday, and Saturday. So they're really pushing for the playoffs. If they can get in the playoffs, they can pretty much, anything can happen, right? So that's your Sudbury Sports, brought to you by that Sudbury Sports Guy's website. Randy Pascal, he's a Sudbury Sports Guy. Sudbury.com is his website. We'll be back with a little bit more right after this. All right, Sudbury gas prices brought to you by gasbuddy.com/Sudbury. Just to give a few gas prices, the lowest in town, you got Costco at $139.9. And then the cheapest after that, Pioneer on the Kingsway, $142.3. Petro on the Kingsway, $142.6. Shell on Notre Dame, $142.6. Shell on Centennial, $142.6. So all the Shells are $142.6 as far as I could see. Then you start getting a little more expensive. Circle K, Chelmsford. So the Chelmsford gas stations are around $143.3, $143.6. So if you can't get to Costco, you got a few other stations on the Kingsway trying to compete. And Shell on Centennial, and then Chelmsford, your cheapest gas other than that. If you noticed, it seems to be, the valley anyways, the gas prices are a lot higher than in town. So I don't know if they'll ever catch on or not. A lot of the people from the valley will just gas up when they're in town, and they'll lose out on business. But if they want to compete, they may want to lower their gas prices. So hopefully if there's anyone in earshot of this show, may want to take notice. All right, that's your Sudbury gas prices brought to you by gasbuddy.com/Sudbury. We'll be back with news headlines and hopefully Pierre Benum to discuss and unpack with me the different stories of today along with me. We'll be back right after this. All right, and here we are. Let's look at what we're covering today. I've started to basically go through the headlines right at the beginning of the show, just to give, what we're going to be talking about today. I didn't do that today, but there's lots to talk about. And good morning, Monique. Thanks for being with us. Let's get everyone's comments here up on the screen. So helps if I have the monitor in front of me so I could read a little easier. Sudbury.com's got a few things in their stories to start the day. That there's a vaccine mandate class action lawsuit. That looks like there's a former city employee that's part of that. There's a missing man. We're going to give an update on him. We won't even go there. There's a man charged after violent Bruce Avenue assault. So that's the story Sudbury.com has been covering this morning. We'll go into that. The Renee Sweeney murder trial continues. And wow, I don't even have words really for what happened yesterday there. Hopefully I have a lot of time to unpack that. It is International Women's Day today. So it's a great day to celebrate, as my entire family, except for me, are women, so it's definitely something that's important to me. And I have three daughters along with my wife, and I often joke that my dog is also female, and so I'm now that my grandson has kind of joined the family, I feel a little bit of camaraderie. But today is International Women's Day, and there's lots to celebrate, and there's a couple stories on that locally that we could talk about today. The Construction Association will host fireside chat with Greater Sudbury's mayor. So along with that, I might as well get into this. Vin Scott, who is on the show pretty much every day, and also reaches out to me from time to time with extra newsworthy stories. Here, I just want to get to this here, if I have it, and I do. So Vin, a little plug for Pet Save here in Sudbury. He, yeah, okay, not sure what happened there, but there we go. So it's been, he's been fostering an abused and starved dog for about 16 months now, and he's gained almost 20 kilograms since he's been there with Vin. He takes daily meds and on a prescribed diet, and he basically is allergic to everything, so he has to get injections for that. But it's all paid through donations to Pet Save Sudbury. And anyways, congratulations for doing. Well, congratulations. It's, it looks like my dog, for heaven's sakes. We have a rescue dog as well, and it's just a great thing to do. And Pet Save is such a great organization, and right on, Vin, for doing that. And yes, I'll definitely plug those types of things on this show. I know you were wondering about that, but I have no problem doing that. And good morning, Diane. Public friends invited to the courthouse support family of Kim Sweeney. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. And with that, I think we have Pierre ready to join us. So good morning, Pierre. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm well. Sorry, I'm a little bit late here. I had another Zoom just finishing up. So here we are.
Zoom to Zoom to Zoom. You're a
I
Zoomer.
just zoom around all morning.
Just zooming away.
Yes.
So, yeah, I just went through some of the things we're going to be talking about today, and then a little plug for Vin, who adopted a canine companion and basically nursed him back to healthiness. And it's always good to do that. I know you have an affection for dogs as well.
Oh, yeah.
As I as well. So animals in general and pets. And Pet Save is an awesome organization.
Yes, absolutely.
And Vin is saying, good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Vin.
Yeah, so Diane again is saying the bon matin, good morning. And friends of Renee Sweeney invited to the courthouse. Cool. Now that's interesting. So I don't know if you've been up on that at all, Pierre, the case.
Was not recently, honestly.
Okay.
But I'm familiar with some of it. Is there there's new developments right now? Like they're in court now, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. So yesterday came out, basically the officer that was in charge, you know how they have someone who's in charge, but then they have a boss, and then they have a boss. So there's the investigating officer, but then they report to somebody. And then they have an opinion and tell you what you should be doing. So the particular officer that was collecting evidence basically was told he needed to come up with someone like right away. Like you can't, you like he felt pressured to come up with whoever did this right away. Ooh. And there was something with fingerprints, and then that got kind of botched. And then they arrested another dude and then went down to his house and did a full raid. And the officer was like surprised they arrested this other guy. because of something he did, and then his boss was telling him to do things. And anyways, it was like, it wasn't surprising to me, to tell you the truth, because I've seen some investigations go that way here locally, and it's unfortunate when things aren't as professional as they should be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, a lot of evidence is being shown in the trial. A lot of things are coming out. So the officer basically testified that he lied. He changed his notes.
Oh dear.
Yeah. There. And so that had a trickle down effect, and affected, including someone else getting arrested for the crime, who later was then released.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
So it's a mess.
Yeah. But again, right, it's taken a while for this trial to come forward. And as you know, what I would suspect is that they're going to make sure certain things are said in certain ways, that certain people aren't thrown under the bus as much as possibly needed to be, or rightfully should be, or whatever, but I'm surprised even this type of evidence has been coming out, to tell you the truth. So
I'd have to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to be too. It's very time consuming and whatever, but I do have to do my due diligence on it. I read, that's why I was a little bit late coming on this morning. I was reading the story from yesterday, and there was a lot of information and some names and things like that. And I just thought, you know what? That's a little bit of an overview. That's just my kind of glossing over. But everyone has the opportunity to for themselves to get reading from Sudbury.com, CTV, Sudbury Star. They're all covering it. CBC as well. So they're all covering it. So every one of us can get on there and read for ourselves what's happening. No worries. Now, it's International Women's Day today, Pierre. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm celebrating.
You are. And something else you were celebrating, yes. What's that?
Oh, yeah, that was yesterday. But yeah, I guess it was good.
Yeah, it was your birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, belated birthday now, but
Thanks.
Your birthday was yesterday. Did you do anything exciting?
I'll take it. It's a whole week. I've got another celebration tomorrow night. So.
Oh, you have a birthday week.
Yes. Always.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I never thought of that. I should propose that to my friends and family. It's my birthday week, not just day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So here I'll show you. I'll show you. So my friends know me well.
Yeah.
So I got 3 Malcolm Gladwell books. These are really good bubble bath reading. And I haven't read any of them, but I know about them. So I'm really happy about this.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
You know my buddy Maher. He picked these out for them.
Hey, Maher, for sure. So
yeah.
So I like the style of those books. I like how they all have the same type of look to them, right? With different titles.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I mean, Malcolm Gladwell, he's a brilliant guy. He digs really deep into a topic. So, like this one, I know, David and Goliath. He basically disrupts the entire story of David and Goliath, and it turns out that David was the bad guy.
Okay.
He was basically the equivalent of a Navy SEAL. He had the best armor and the best technology in the land. Goliath was essentially a low IQ, not the smartest dude, and they set him up, and David walloped him with his technology. Sad story.
Interesting. So, I just
it's the little guy with the weapons bullying the big guy is what the crux of it is. It's very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
I
like things.
So he did all the research. It's all tons of research. Anyway, it's really fun to read because he, when people go that deeply into something and they know it more than anyone else on the planet, it's really cool. So I like that stuff.
Is it similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing, where this guy comes out and he's really skilled with the the swords
much.
and he's doing all the stuff and he's really,
Yes.
but then because you have the gun, you don't have to have any skill really in some ways. You have the technology. You're weaker than that person in so many ways. And you can just point it at him and shoot him.
That's pretty much it. It's a good example of how, that's how old is this story? For 3,000 years? That's 3,000 year propaganda right there.
Interesting. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Love it. Oh, you have a few happy birthday wishes here. Diane, happy birthday, Pierre. Oh, happy birthday week.
Thank you.
Happy birthday week. And Monique, happy birthday, Pierre. Yeah, right on. So this is great. So you've been
I got a lot of those. It's funny.
A lot of reading ahead.
So we went out. Yes, we went out for steak last night, and my steak was about that thick and beautiful and pink on a hot stone. It was amazing. And and oysters. That's what I had.
Wow.
Sounds good.
Steak and oysters.
Because I'm on a strict diet.
Okay.
I'm doing the carnivore diet, right, for my fitness plan. So I didn't mind. So it's good.
Interesting. Yeah. I've been on a similar type of diet, but not so much all meat, but just no carbs, which then leaves you very little after. So there's a lot of meat after you cut out carbs.
I'm doing vegetables, a little bit of veggies, but very low carbs, very, very low.
Right on.
Yeah.
So we're just going through a couple more of the headlines here.
Yes.
Let's see here. Oh, I should have included this in the Sudbury Wolves, the sports segment, but I can still do it now. Let's see here. The Sudbury Wolves got their hockey cards out, and you can get
He's doing a lot of great things.
Dario? Oh, for sure.
Idea.
Yes.
That's
definitely
a good idea.
Yeah. So their hockey cards are out. $12.99 available online. Greater Sports.
Okay.
New Sudbury Center.
And they're traditional hockey cards? They're not NFTs, I hope.
What do you mean exactly?
Are they're real hockey cards? Like you actually own the thing?
Looks like it. Yeah. Yeah, you get a pack. Yeah, per set.
Oh, I thought, they're not digital. Okay, good.
No. They're actual, hold them in your hand cards. I remember I grew up, my early childhood was in the Sioux and the Sioux Greyhounds. And they never had actual cards. They were just like on paper. They were just like similar size, but they were just paper pictures. And you can get dog-eared and they just, you know what I mean? They just didn't last very long at all. But they were magical to me because to me it was similar to the NHL, and I'm sure it's the same to a lot of our young people here with the Wolves. It's the same as you live in Toronto and you go for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's that magical for a lot of our youngsters here in town. So those hockey cards will mean a lot for sure. Great meal, Pierre. That's what Diane's saying. And NFTs. Ha ha ha. Carrie B says on YouTube. Okay, so that's right. So the headline with the Sweeney case was second guessing fingerprint ID, shoeprint evidence in Sweeney's murder investigation. A former Sudbury police forensics officer testified in court Tuesday. He thought it was a joke when he heard John Federley had been charged with the murder of Renee Sweeney.
Oh,
because of
he said that? He thought it was a joke?
Oh, because it wasn't him, and the officer who was doing the investigating knew it. It was his higher ups that just wanted someone. They needed to arrest someone. That's the thing, when the community someone's murdered, there's a pressure from the community to find who did it. You know why? Sure. Because we don't want to be next, one, and we don't want someone out there who's murdered someone going free. And so they're under a lot of pressure to find someone. And unfortunately, and we've seen it throughout North America and probably throughout the world, where they'll just go get someone. Okay, we got this guy, so it's someone. So we've satisfied the pressure from the public, and that's enough for us.
it's a public relations exercise. It's not a,
Exactly.
it's not
Find the
about
right
truth.
person. Exactly.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I forget what the quote is. I think it's Mark Twain, and he said something like, I'll paraphrase here. The beauty of telling the truth is you never have to remember anything.
100%. 100%. Exactly.
So if we follow that in everything in our lives, whether it's crime, whether it's work, whether it's your relationships, anything,
Yep.
you're going to live a better life because you're always striving for truth, not a narrative.
Yep.
And truth sometimes is scary. Maybe it's the wrong person who killed, who's the killer, but the truth is the truth. And in the end, it's going to win.
Yep.
So this is an example of the chain of command and, a domino effect of that person didn't tell the truth and that person didn't tell the truth. And,
yeah. And if you always know when someone's caught in a lie, they'll always say the reasons why you lied, and you can understand them. There was public pressure. My boss told me I was going to be fired. There's all these reasons, and it's true. And a lot of us succumb to them from time to time, but you're right. When you take a stand and you stand for truth and you just are about the truth, you never have to remember, because you don't have to remember a lie. The truth is your actual memory.
And that takes courage. Imagine being the investigating officer and you're in that institution. Correct. And there's pressure from everywhere. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of guts, man. That's like, that's hard.
Yep, 100%. So yes, but you got to do it exactly. It's like you said, it's the angel and the devil on two shoulders. Yes. Which one are you going to listen to? And it takes more courage to go after the truth angel, if you will, than it would be to just go the easy route. And you ever do that? You ever go the easy route and then you just feel conflated or deflated afterwards?
You never feel good when you cheat.
No,
you don't.
No. They're just, it. You feel kind of scummy.
Yeah.
So Caribbean is saying the cards, the Wolves cards, are also great because the kids can get them signed too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And Julie's saying good morning. Good morning, Julia. Thanks for being with us. Hope you're having a great morning. Now, speaking of courage, this goes right into the next story, and Sudbury.com has covered it. So staff are impacted by vaccine mandate, part of a 126 million class action lawsuit. Former City of Greater Sudbury employee is part of a class action lawsuit against dozens of Ontario municipalities, the Solicitor General, and King Charles.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was that.
Wait, he's named in the suit?
I guess so.
That's
what it says. Part. Says it in the headline anyways, so I read it.
Oh.
I read it.
He employs a lot of people.
Well, I guess our government is under the crown to begin with, right? So ultimately, if you're going after the government, looks like it.
That's going to get them a lot of attention.
Yeah, so here it is, right here. Class against several Ontario municipalities and King Charles that alleges vaccine mandates violated people's rights. The hundreds of former municipal employees who were fired or placed on unpaid leave for refusing to disclose their COVID-19 vaccine status are seeking $550,000 each in compensation, according to the statement of claim filed by Rocco Galati law firm. Incidentally, a similar lawsuit filed by the same lawyer against a variety of federal agencies and federal regulated organizations was recently, guess what? In the courts. What do you think happened when he went against the courts recently, this lawyer? What result do you think he had?
He got probably booted out. No?
Exactly. He got booted out.
Yes, he did.
But he's still going ahead with this one, with the judge calling the claims bad beyond argument. The suit involves more than 200 plaintiffs throughout the province, largely first responders and essential workers, seeking a collective $125.95 million from a variety of municipalities and taxpayer-funded service providers. King Charles, as we said, is also named. all the plaintiffs. I wonder if they can get him to come testify. That would be awesome. As they tried to get Trudeau in one of the cases recently. I forget. I was reading a story where one of the people suing or whatever. The guy that threw stones or threw gravel at Prime Minister Trudeau was charged for assault with a weapon. And he was trying to get Justin Trudeau to come to his trial and testify, because that's what people normally do, right? If I'm assaulted, I go to the trial of the person who assaulted me and I say this is what happened. But you can't get the Prime Minister to come to a trial because he is the Prime Minister. He doesn't do things like that, especially when there's sitting Parliament. Apparently, there's a law. If there's sitting Parliament,
he'll get COVID. He'll get COVID, and he'll have to hide at his cottage again.
So, anyway, so that's interesting. King Charles is named in this. All plaintiffs were sent home on leave without pay and or subsequently fired for refusing to take the inoculations, is in brackets because vaccines is in quotes, right? Because you know why they have to do that. Right. Whether or not
they're going to be in big trouble. There's so much information, new information coming out daily now that's just not good for the lockdown side, and they're going to be in trouble. There's already been some lawsuits I've read about in the States, like small communities and stuff where people have won already. So it depends
really? Oh, you said in the States though, right?
In the U.S. Yeah.
Not in Canada.
I can't cite exactly right now, but I know there's been a couple in the last few months, like small class action suits of employers and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not over. It's going to be a long.
I could see that in the States, not necessarily in Canada. Canada would be a harder, longer road than that. Now, Adam is saying, probably back to our talking of the investigations, too many of our institutions are focused on optics of a situation instead of results, which is 100% true.
It's the spirit of public relations.
Exactly. Politicians, Miles says, put pressure on law enforcement as well. Like of the time when the big blast in Sudbury in the late 90s, the 17 bypass, Bartolucci wanted the truck driver arrested right away when later.
I remember that.
They found out wasn't the truck driver's fault at all.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, no, that's the thing, right? And then you say, how did these things happen? Well, I think if you can at least go back, that's what our courts are supposed to be for. And that's what's so interesting about this. And what's interesting about what you're talking about is so much information has come out now. And you would hope the courts would take the law and evidence and just do what they're supposed to do instead of seemingly being political. Am I kind of going, am I on the right track here that seems to be political?
Well, they're very political. I mean, they are political. I mean, that's one good thing about AI, because I honestly believe this. It sounds nuts, but in like 10 years, we will be able to have AI judges, and that will be absolutely unbiased. They will analyze it like an algorithm, and it'll be like fact 1, 2, 3, 1 to 5,000. Doesn't line up. You're guilty. You won't be able to fight it.
Now,
it'll be more fair than a judge.
I like how you're saying that, because it's possible. And you will be able to make an AI algorithm that does do that. However,
we have it already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is true.
My buddy works at Microsoft, and he's telling me about the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. Now this is the thing. No, you go ahead first. Then I got something I want to share.
Yeah, the legal profession is going to be completely disrupted in like 10 years, like 100% disrupted. The AI right now is passing the LSAT exam, like to get in 100%. And those are logic exams, right? It's pure logic. It's mathematics to be a lawyer. And human error or whatever, you'll get 80%. You get in, you're one of the best lawyers. AI is getting 100%. So they're saying now that because lawyers read all these documents, they're just reading all the time. Judges, the same thing. They skim. They don't really read it. They don't have time. You get 800 pages on your desk. You got to have it read by 7 a.m. and write a 30-page judgment. So think about that. It's pretty interesting.
I do think about it quite often. And my whole university experience was basically writing papers on communications and AI and surveillance and data and our phones and all these things of where we're at with technology these days and how it's going to impact our society. The thing is, though, right now that same technology, it was shown that you ask it to write you a favorable essay on Donald Trump and why he should be the next president. It said, we cannot do this.
Yes.
Cannot do it.
Yes.
So that's the problem with AI, right? It's whoever's in charge of the AI. There you have the problem. Yeah. So you can have a judge who's unbiased and all this stuff, but all you need is to get someone in there who says, yeah, well, of course the AI is unbiased. Obviously, they don't know you went in and you give it a little bias in the background. Said, obviously, you're guilty because it's unbiased, right? But so there again, as long as there's people involved, there's going to be people.
Now, there's more. The more it's used, the less biased it gets, because right now there's an echo chamber in the politics of the programmers generally, right? So those politics are seeping into the AI right now. There's alternatives. There's one called based AI. It's really funny, and it's right-wing AI.
Yeah.
So they ask the same question of this one and that one, and two different answers.
That's what I mean, exactly. And I think that's what Vin is kind of alluding to here. It says, if there's bills that are passed with there's censorship in our media, there's censorship, and the AI goes out and gets all the information from all the media, which is also censored first. It's just then going to give you the biased, censored version of things, right? Because it's only going from what's out there.
Yeah. They're aware of that. So here's I'll read you a little quickie text from a friend of mine who works at Microsoft, and we talk about this all the time. So I asked him about how to rank AI search and so on. Anyway, he goes, the internal version, we are being directed to set context of the domain first so that it can dial in the results. For example, act as an expert in vortex mathematics when answering my question. So you can say, answer this legal, create this legal decision with the most unbiased information possible. And then the algorithm tweaks the answer over and over and over. So basically, expert systems evolve for the domain-specific knowledge sets. So essentially, the more it gets used and the more it's told to be unbiased, it will be unbiased. So you can prove a bias in AI by using AI. It's meta.
So it's got AI checks and balances kind of thing, like there. Yes. Interesting. I don't know. I think it's more scary. I think it's great. It's like anything. It's like anything. Yeah. It's like any tool that's going to just totally change the world. It has good and not so good factors about it. Just think of if you think of the darkest things about it, if you think about what the possibilities are, you don't have you just need a bit of science fiction imagination, and you can just imagine. Well, it depends.
Just imagine
who's coded it. That's what Caribbean is saying. Who's doing the coding, like you said, and who's behind it. Now, this is the thing. There is a scripture in the book of Revelations that said, and there was life. Basically, the image of the beast was given life kind of thing, and then was given power to speak. And when I heard about all this AI stuff, I said, wow, that to me, because then we will just give all of our everything over to this AI, and saying, well, AI is going to be able to tell us everything we need to know and do everything for us. And so then that will become our master, because it will control us. It becomes like that iRobot type scenario thing that Will Smith was in, right? Or the Matrix, or
there's a writer who just put out a book. I forget his name. I'll post it later when I dig it up. He on my LinkedIn. He basically talks about a very near future society. He called it de-apping Mars or something like that, and how how to avoid the AI dictator. And he did a mathematical calculation of human history and everything that's happening. And it's inevitable that we will have an AI dictator of the planet, which is essentially tied in with
there you go.
networks and with satellites and all those things.
Exactly.
But he has a way to counter it, which is really interesting. And it's too long to explain right now, but I'll post.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
I'm interested in
essentially that. Like, it's decentralization. It's basically blockchain, the idea of blockchain, where there's only one singular truth for each thing, each item that exists in the planet, every idea, every crime, every food source, every transaction. There's only one. You can't fake it. Is when you ownership of that, like, it's kind of like Bitcoin in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
No one else in the world can steal it from you or cheat it from you because it's in here. So if we all do that, AI can't penetrate us because there's only one of each of us. It's essentially radical individuality. It's really interesting. So he sent this to Elon Musk. This is how you need to plan your civilization when you go to Mars to save us from AI. It's wild, man, the way people are thinking now.
I know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. We're even having this kind of technology that this is even possible. And Adam is saying, so what's harder to control or manipulate, an AI system or a human? Right. So it's a good question. Vin also says, sounds like Google today, as they've admitted to censorship. Sure, the information is there, but how many pages deep do you have to go to find it? Kind of thing. Right. So that's no
surprise at all.
We are in a new world. There's no doubt about it. We are entering the Twilight Zone in many ways. Like, this is the future. We have now arrived. AI will be that game changer. That, our world, like, say 2024 and beyond, is you'll basically maybe liken it to pre-pandemic-ish because it's in the same realm. But after the pandemic, there was AI. Probably will be the future talk of, future generations, how it changed our world.
I think no matter what the cause, no matter what that cause of the pandemic was, it was a huge opportunity for the powers to just, what's that phrase? Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yep.
And that's after 9/11, they did it. So it's like, okay, all systems go. Boom.
Yes.
That link that you and I talked about yesterday, just with the data, the health data that Trudeau's trying to implement. Basically, they're monetizing our health information. Just that alone wouldn't have happened without the pandemic, right? Because of the digital passports, all those things. So
it's true.
It's wild.
It moved things forward at an exponential rate in terms of the new world we're going into, for sure.
And the decision makers are not the politicians. It's the technocrats who are anonymous and not elected and in the back rooms. That's what's scary.
Yep.
They're telling the think tanks, telling corporations what to tell the government.
The WEF is a great example of that. One great example of that, where they're speaking with authority and saying, this is where our world is going to go. And it's like, oh, really? Who decided that? They're like, it's going to be like this.
Experts.
Yeah. So back to the vaccine mandate lawsuit, class action lawsuit. All plaintiffs were sent home on leave without pay and subsequently fired for refusing to take the inoculations, whether or not they were working from home, or further refused to multi-weekly PCR testing in order to continue working. This is the thing I had a problem with. You know how we talk about our healthcare crisis? We're closing down our fire halls and things because we don't have enough volunteer fire personnel, because they all were required to get this. They refuse, and so we never talk about the huge amount of the labor force we lost for emergency services, frontline workers, nurses, and all these things. It's never in the conversation of mainstream media that has largely impacted our healthcare system. They never bring that up. They just have to say that's one of the reasons, because they always say, oh, it's because of the low pay. It's because we don't have enough people in school. And they never mention this, even though we've lost, I think, some estimates go up to 40% of the workforce they lost due to this. And due to the stress of this, because a lot of arguing in the workplace because of this too, right? A lot of coworkers were like on different sides of the fence on it.
Oh yeah, so, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And someone needs, I'm sure there's some really competent journalists out there doing this work. Someone needs to I'm sure there's going to be books coming out and everything, but to quantify all of this stuff, right? Everything from the paramedic who lost his job to the kid, to the kid at home, stuck in a violent family environment or whatever, trying to commit suicide, whatever. There's a million of these stories, and you kind of find them if you look for them. But so you could actually quantify it, because the data is there. You just have to go and dig. Somebody should do that, because that would be, and if it's just pure data, you can't argue with it. It's fact. It's like, 500 kids in Canada tried to commit suicide in 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
In 2018, there was 100. You're like, what's going on here? Same with the job loss and the financial loss. Yeah, it's a big deal. They messed up so bad. They messed up.
And again, no one's really taking accountability for it, and they don't want to. And then if they do, then there's all the lawsuits, because everyone's going to go, yeah. But North Bay, I played the video on here. They came out and they said sorry. They said, we were wrong for doing this to you, and we publicly apologize. And now there's no mandate in place in North Bay anymore. They really did. And I don't even know. I think they gave them compensation and things to the workers, gave them their jobs back, all that stuff in North Bay. And I'm wondering when Sudbury is going to follow suit, if they're going to follow suit on that.
Well, it's either there's going to be, once the class action suits, it's just a snowball. And every city, people are resigning now. Leaders, there's a list online I saw of all these important people, elected and bureaucrats, just quietly, just like taking their arm and disappearing. It's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Moving to New Zealand, whatever, because they know.
Exactly.
So
now there's so many other things to talk about today, but I did want to get to, there's going to be a town hall meeting in, is it Onaping Falls tonight?
About the fire?
I'm sure it's what it's about. Yeah. But Onaping Falls has been feeling a little bit neglected lately by the city of Greater Sudbury. And they wrote a letter to the mayor. First Onaping Community's business center in the 2023 budget is dead and not deferred to the 2024 budget. The building is the community hub for Levack and Onaping, with our Falls Food Bank, Levack Onaping Public Library, Teen Center, Onaping Pool, Art Club, Rio Encore Theater, Onaping Falls Can, Adult Learning Center, gym, and much, much more. We, the Onaping Falls Recreation Committee, have tried to secure outside funding from various sources to repair and improve the building, with no success. There are numerous issues with the state of the roof, windows, doors, plumbing, and drainage, etc. Goes on to say a lot of other things, but we're requesting that you can reconsider the decision to deny the complete capital repairs to Onaping Community Center business case, the 2023 budget, and the decision to pause the arena roof replacement project to wait for a report on costs, alternative operational considerations. Thanks for your consideration. That's from Carrie Moray, and she's like everything out there. She's the chair of the Onaping Falls Recreation Committee, treasurer of Onaping Falls Can, director of Onaping Falls Youth Choir, chair of Onaping Falls Winter Carnival. Just one of these movers and shakers, right? So she's written that letter.
Lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that comes from Vin, so thanks to him. They're doing a lot of, this is what my hat's off to the mayor, though, for going out and doing these town halls. I just wonder how long he's going to be able to do them. And, because people are kind of a lot upset in a lot of the, not only Sudbury, but the outlying communities.
If he's going out there and if he's facing the fire, I respect that. I think that's good. It's a challenge, though, because those small, imagine the cost of an arena. We know. I wonder if they were better off before amalgamation. My gut says they were. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know, because their taxes go into the big pot, right? It used to be local. So Levack Onaping, it's a very small community. It's far away. It's probably an aging community. I'm guessing there's not a lot of kids out there now. But I don't know, man. I think it's our Greater Sudbury is so huge. I don't know if those small communities benefit from this. I don't think they do.
I don't think so either. And again, we're talking about the Junction East project and whatever. When we have all the communities have their own kind of mini ones that they congregate at, and it's a community center basically. And it is tonight at 6:30 at the Onaping Community Center. So yeah, Mayor Paula Fave will be there. So it's March the 8th today. Get out, support it, support Onaping.
Yeah.
And that's all the time we have today.
All right.
Time flies. It flies.
We never have time.
We could
talk for 2 hours about everything.
More than that, probably a whole morning. But thank you, Pierre, and happy birthday week to you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again on Friday.
Will do. Yep.
Okay. Thanks again. Yeah. Have a good one, Pierre.
Take care, everybody.
Pierre Benum, as usual, a great conversation. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Thanks for commenting. I wish I did a better job getting everything on the screen and saying it on the radio, but it's hard sometimes. But stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. Thanks, Pierre. Okay. Have a good one. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.